What if I told you that the quickest way to love is not chasing, not waiting, not wishing, but marrying in the secret chamber of your imagination first? The moment you say "I do" within, reality begins to bend and life rushes to deliver it into your hands. Love is not something distant that you must chase in the outside world. It is not hidden in chance encounters or locked behind destiny's door. Love begins inside of you, in the world that no one sees, the world of imagination. Too many people believe that marriage begins with rings, vows, and ceremonies. But the truth is, marriage begins long before the world witnesses it. It begins the moment you marry in your imagination. The moment you choose, accept, and live in the feeling of being already joined with the one you desire. The universe accelerates the process of bringing it into reality. You may ask, how can something invisible create something so tangible? The answer is simple. Everything visible today was once invisible yesterday. Every house was once a vision, every invention a thought, every success a belief. If this principle works for wealth, business, and dreams, why would it not work for love? The union you desire is not waiting to be stumbled upon, it is waiting to be imagined, believed, and felt. Your imagination is the altar where vows are first exchanged. When you stand there faithfully united within, the external marriage cannot delay itself for long. The power of marrying in imagination lies in the emotions you embody. When you feel the joy of already being loved, when you sense the warmth of a hand already holding yours, when you hear the laughter of a partner already beside you, your subconscious accepts it as truth. And because your subconscious controls the bridge between inner and outer life, it begins aligning events, people, and circumstances to mirror what you already feel. The secret is this: reality has no choice but to reflect the conviction you hold in imagination. Too often people sabotage their own desires because they live more in doubt than in vision. They see themselves as single, lonely, rejected, or unworthy, and then wonder why love delays. The truth is, you cannot live in the feeling of separation and expect union to appear. You cannot dwell on being unwanted and expect to be chosen. The inner picture must shift first. When you marry in imagination, you strip away every thought of loneliness and replace it with the delight of already being loved. You stop looking at time and start looking at fulfillment. And the moment you do this consistently, reality quickens its pace. We think of it like planting a seed. If you plant a rose in fertile soil, you don't run outside the next day in panic because you see no bloom. You trust the seed because you know it is already alive beneath the surface. In the same way, when you marry in imagination, you have already planted the seed of love. The roots are forming, the growth is happening, even if you cannot yet see it. The marriage is already yours, you are simply waiting for the blossom to appear. Marrying in imagination is not fantasy, it is preparation. Just as an athlete rehearses before the game, just as a speaker rehearses before the stage, you are rehearsing your union before it appears. You speak as though it has already happened. You smile as though your partner is already by your side. You carry yourself as though love is not coming but has already arrived, and what happens? You radiate certainty, and certainty is magnetic. People are drawn to it, opportunities align with it, and the one you desire cannot help but be pulled toward the reality you have already claimed. Now here's the beautiful truth: you don't need to beg or force for this to happen. You don't need to chase or manipulate. The only thing required is faithfulness to the vision. Every night as you drift into sleep, picture yourself married, secure, fulfilled. Hear the laughter at the dinner table, feel the embrace after a long day, sense the peace of knowing you are no longer searching. Make that your final thought before sleep, and your subconscious will work tirelessly to bridge the gap. Night after night, repetition seals the bond, until what was once imagination hardens into fact. Skeptics will say, but isn't this delusion? And to them I say, isn't every creation first a form of delusion? Wasn't the airplane once a mad fantasy? Wasn't electricity once an impossible idea? The world is built by those who dared to imagine what others could not see. Imagination is not delusion, it is creation in its rawest form. When you marry in imagination, you are not deceiving yourself, you are creating a future reality and pulling it toward you with unshakable conviction. And here is what makes this so powerful. Marrying in imagination not only attracts love faster, but it also changes you in the process. You become calm, confident, radiant. You stop doubting your worth because you already live as though you are chosen. And this inner shift alone makes you irresistibly magnetic. People cannot resist someone who walks in the energy of already being loved. Your aura changes, your presence changes, and opportunities for love begin to multiply without effort. Understand this: you are never waiting for love. Love is waiting for you to claim it. When you stop asking when will it come, and start saying it is already mine, you shorten the distance between desire and fulfillment. Your imagination is not a playground, it is a wedding hall. Every detail you imagine becomes the vows written in eternity. And soon the invisible ceremony will manifest into the visible one, with rings, laughter, and celebration to prove what you already knew. So tonight, before you close your eyes, step into the marriage of your dreams. Walk down the aisle in your imagination. Hear the words spoken, feel the moment sealed. Live it as though it is happening now. And repeat this every day, not with desperation, but with joy. Let the feeling of union be so real that you forget separation ever existed. And as surely as the sun rises, the marriage you first created in your imagination will arrive in your reality faster than you could ever believe. Every relationship you dream of does not begin with chance meetings or outer circumstances. It begins in the inner sanctuary of your imagination. What you hold there with conviction must eventually walk into your life. When you close your eyes and declare yourself already united, you are creating the foundation upon which reality builds. The world you see with your senses is simply a delayed reflection of what you have already embraced within. That is why imagination is not just idle dreaming, it is the first step toward real union. The wedding that takes place in your mind is as real as any ceremony witnessed by others. The outer must eventually mirror the inner. What you dare to marry in imagination sets the course for your reality. And nothing can delay it once it is accepted within you. Your emotions are the vows that seal the marriage in imagination. It is not enough to think casually of love, you must feel it, live it, and breathe it as though it is already yours. When you sense the joy of a hand already holding yours, when you imagine the laughter of shared moments, you engrave it into your subconscious. Feelings are the language of creation, and the universe listens to the conviction of emotion more than the noise of empty words. If you can sustain the joy of already being loved, you send a signal to life itself, and life has no choice but to respond. Emotion is the ring, the embrace, and the vow. Hold it long enough, and reality will dress itself in the marriage you already celebrated within. Living in the feeling of separation only breeds more waiting, more longing, more distance. You cannot sit in the energy of loneliness and expect love to arrive at your doorstep. What you embody is what you attract. When you live in the feeling of being chosen, of already being united, you pull your desire closer with invisible strings. The energy you radiate tells the world what belongs to you. If you dwell in lack, you summon lack. If you dwell in union, you summon union. You are never waiting on love. Love is waiting on you to step into its embrace. The shift happens the moment you leave behind the energy of waiting and begin embodying the joy of already being there. Think of imagination as the soil where your love story is planted. When you marry in imagination, you bury the berry in rich, fertile ground. The roots grow beneath the surface long before the flower ever blooms. Just because you don't yet see the outer expression doesn't mean the process isn't alive. Faith is knowing the unseen is already working on your behalf. A farmer doesn't panic when the field looks bare, he trusts the seed. In the same way, you must trust the inner wedding, even when the outer world still appears silent. The bloom will come, the fruit will ripen, and love will blossom because it has already taken root in your imagination. Imagination is not child's play, it is the rehearsal for reality. An athlete rehearses victory before entering the arena. A performer rehearses applause before stepping on stage. And you must rehearse love before it arrives. This is not fantasy but preparation. By imagining the conversations, the shared meals, the laughter, and the intimacy, you are practicing the life you will soon live. Every rehearsal strengthens your belief, and belief shapes destiny. You are teaching yourself how to carry the energy of being loved so that when it appears, you are already comfortable wearing it. Reality never resists the person who is prepared for it. Repetition is the golden thread that ties imagination to reality. One fleeting thought will not transform your world, but a consistent vision rehearsed daily becomes law in your subconscious. Every night before sleep, return to your inner marriage. Every morning upon waking, step back into it with confidence. The more consistent you are, the more real it becomes to you. And when it feels more real within than your current circumstances, the outer world must bow and conform. Faithfulness to the vision is the invisible wedding ring you wear until the real one slides onto your hand. When others call this delusion, remember that every creation was once called impossible. The airplane was fantasy, the light bulb was madness, the idea of speaking across oceans was absurd. And yet imagination turned all of them into undeniable facts. Creation begins in the unseen, and only those bold enough to believe are rewarded with proof. Marrying in imagination is not deceiving yourself, it is declaring your future in advance. The world may mock what it cannot see, but the moment it arrives, they will call it destiny. Imagination is not delusion, it is the birthplace of all reality. The moment you marry in imagination, you change, you begin to soften. Your energy shifts from longing to having, from waking to celebrating. People notice it. Without knowing why you glow, you attract, you become magnetic. Confidence flows through you because you are no longer questioning if love will come. You know it already has. And this energy is irresistible. Life mirrors your inner radiance by drawing to you the love you already carry within. You don't chase affection, you embody it. And what you embody, you magnetize. Love is not wandering around lost, waiting to find you. It already exists. It is already available. And it is already yours. The only distance between you and it is the belief you hold. When you stop saying someday and start declaring now, you collapse time. Marry in imagination shortens the gap because you no longer treat love as future, you bring it into the present. The moment you say, I am already chosen, I am already united, the waiting dissolves. Love is never late. It appears the moment you claim it is already here. Your imagination is the true wedding hall. There you walk down the aisle. You exchange vows. You celebrate union before anyone else sees it. Every detail imagined is etched into eternity, and the universe begins arranging itself to honor it. Soon what was once only seen by you becomes visible to everyone. The private ceremony of your inner world becomes the public celebration of your outer world. Never underestimate the power of that unseen altar. Once the vows are spoken within, reality cannot help but deliver the same in time. The marriage is already sealed in your imagination, and reality is simply catching up.